going to do is compare the MCX8000 over here to the Roland DJ808.
The power of the dark side.
Alright, here we are doing a quick comparison of the Denon, or as some people call it, Denon MCX8000, which is their 2016 Serato DJ controller, which is also a standalone unit. So one of the first standalone DJ controllers that ever came out, and that is what makes this thing quite unique. So what I'm going to do is compare the MCX8000 over here to the Roland DJ808. And the reason that this is interesting is because Roland has built in a drum machine and sequencer as part of the unit. Alright, I have it unplugged here. So the deal is, I have decided to sell one of my DJ controllers, and the one I'm going to sell is going to be the DJ808 here, which also has the voice transformer up here. So this is not just a DJ controller, but it also has a drum machine and a voice transformer, which I really like. I've really enjoyed playing with that. And this is the first time I've turned it on in a couple of weeks, but I just sold it. So the reason I'm doing the video is because I'm going to send this one away, and as chance would have it, I actually purchased another MCX8000 yesterday, just because I got a good deal. So I thought I would talk a little bit about why it is that I'm sort of excited to be keeping the MCX8000, and although I really like the Roland DJ808, why it's okay for it to be going away. And so most of my discussion is going to have to do with the build quality of the item and just sort of how I like using it. Because I'm not a great DJ. However, I have taught myself to use all of this equipment, and so as usual, the first thing that I chose to purchase, which was the MCX8000, is what I have determined that I probably would prefer to keep. So if you're just talking about build quality, then basically the MCX8000 here is a metal design, sort of like an Apple computer, and the DJ808 is a plastic design. The MCX8000 is a little bit shorter than the DJ808. So there's my finger at the front of the MCX8000, so you'll see that the Roland is probably about an inch taller. Now I believe that this probably matches more audio equipment in height. However, I prefer the lower profile. For some reason I like that better. Okay. Something else which can probably be changed in the settings is that the pads on these, the color is not as vibrant as they are over here on the MCX8000. Now you may be able to change that. Alright, so these are both unique controllers, but they're unique for totally different reasons, which makes it very difficult to choose which one to keep and which one to sell. You could try to break it down as to where you spend more of your time, in a live situation or in a studio production situation. However, that's really not going to help a lot either, because they're both good for both. Okay, now I feel like I will gravitate towards something that is going to be better for live use. And although you would think that would be the DJ808 because it's a little more compact and it has the built-in drum machine and voice transformer, which the MCX8000 does not have, there are some features over here on the MCX8000 that make it better for live. It has the stop time knob, which the 808 does not have. Now I'm sure you can adjust the stop time within the software, but it's nice to have that. A lot of people talk about how much better the platters on the 808 are, low latency platters. In a certain way, I believe they're just mimicking the marketing, because that's exactly what the box says. So I think they're just saying what the box is telling them to say. And I like to fool with those platters a lot, and personally I have not noticed a difference. I personally prefer the platter over here on the MCX8000 because the platter itself is one item all the way across. That's one piece of plastic. Okay. Over here, although that ring looks cool, okay, this is two separate pieces of plastic here. So they're both spinning. However, the middle clear part is a separate part than this. And quite honestly, I think the fit and finish on these could be a little bit better. Okay. So over here, you don't have to worry about that. It's just flat all the way across right here. And I also prefer these big grooves so I can grab a hold of that platter like that, as opposed to these smaller. They look like they have more grip, but they're smaller so that it's actually a little more slippery than this. See, this, boy, you can get a hold of that. So I like that. And of course, I have a thing I like to do, which is to move the platter a lot. So I do that a lot. All right. Okay, another thing here is that in a live situation, having these buttons which control that channel of the mixer, having them up here where you're looking down on them, so if you happen to need to change them while you're in the middle of a live situation, you can do it without moving your head. Okay, over here on the DJ808, as you'll notice, there's no buttons here, so you have to look down here and then make your choice. It's a little bit harder, okay, which actually makes this better for the studio, because in the studio you can take a minute, look down here, get them set. But over here, you can do it real quick on the fly. So, you know, getting your mixer set up and getting that channel set up. So I prefer that on the MCX8000. Now, you know, obviously I will continue to come back to the fact that we have a built-in drum machine. Not only that, but we have a built-in mixer for the drum machine and the sampler, which that's pretty awesome. Of course, in Serato, you can, as I do over here, you can send your samples out to one of these channels, but it's just kind of nice to have a separate channel for that, and then you can use your other channels for something else. So if you want a built-in drum machine, then the DJ808 is definitely for you. But what I have decided is I like to tinker and I like to learn about new equipment. So it won't take me long before I have decided that I want to move to another drum machine. And if I'm going to move to another drum machine, then the fact is for me, I'm not going to need this one. And I don't mean that I won't use it, but there's no reason for me to pay for it. So I'm going to sell this one, and then I'll just get another drum machine. Now, of course, that's going to add to the amount of crap I have to carry around if I do anything live. But for me, that'll work. Although I love the way you can sync the drum machine to a track that you've got going over here. It makes that a lot better for a live DJ because you can just do a little drum track. Then you can figure out what's going on. You can just keep that going in the background, and if you need to, you can bump over to it. So it's good in emergencies. However, if you know anything about this equipment, there's plenty of ways to keep yourself set up for an emergency. Lots of ways to do that. Alright, so it seems silly, but I prefer the width of the power button on the MCX8000. The power button is as wide as my finger. Okay. So, and it has two plastic protrusions on each side. So on that one you can push your entire finger in and get the power button turned on quickly each time. On the DJ808, the power button is a lot more narrow, and it still has the plastic protrusions. So you kind of have to turn your finger widthwise to push the power button. And on this one, the cable will get in the way of the power button. There it is. Because the cable has a 45-degree angle. So I prefer the power button on the MCX8000. I love the voice transformer over here. This thing is fun. But just like with the drum machine, I think I'll be able to find something else that I like. Maybe a separate little voice transformer. I haven't looked into that. As far as Serato goes, they're similar. One thing that I do prefer about the DJ808 is that the DJ808 not only has a filter here, the Serato filter. Okay, so in the MCX8000, that's your low pass and high pass filter only. I don't know if you can map that to something else or not, probably. But on the DJ808, Roland has built in 3 additional effects in addition to the filter. So, which is great for a live situation because you can quickly tap the effect and then affect that without having to go look at the computer. But these are part of the hardware. I do not believe you can remap these, and they're not that great of effects. Dub, echo, noise, and jet. So if you could remap those, that would be better. But that just gives you more options of doing effects without having to leave this area. Because then you have to go up here, which that area is basically the same on both boards. So it's your effects select. Okay, of course, since you have the screens here, you can actually go through and change the effect, change which effect you are using without looking at the computer over here. but on the DJ808 you have to look at the computer to know which effect this is set to. So it just says effects select. So then you have to look at your computer to see what you have selected, whereas over here you can see transform, flanger, reverb. So once again, over here, because of the screens, you've got information that you don't have over here, which basically is all of the information. You basically have to have your computer. I mean, that's another thing about this over here. Okay, is a drum machine being built into a DJ controller more pivotal, or is a standalone DJ controller more pivotal? Well, I think in my short amount of time of fooling with this stuff that the standalone machine is more pivotal. The fact that this can be used without the computer makes this a far better choice for live situations. Because in a live situation, although you're limited by the engine software, it's nowhere near as robust as Serato. Okay, just because you're limited by that doesn't mean you can't get the job done. And you can definitely get the job done. And over here, you just cannot get it done without that computer. And the fact is, that is awesome. So it's actually why I have decided that I probably am going to sell this little item, which is the Machine MK3, because it is not standalone at all. It has to have the computer. So in a world where I want to kind of move around quick and get stuff done, something that I can... Okay, also, if I wanted to go do some audio production but somewhere else and I don't have the computer, well, okay, I may cut that out. If I'm not using the computer, then this is probably not a good audio production tool. So I'll probably have to rethink that comment. There's no doubt in the world, once again, that the drum machine, which can also sequence the sampler, is awesome. Being able to sequence the sampler is awesome. So the sampler of Serato is connected in with the sequencer of the hardware. Now that's pretty awesome. So you can load your samples up in Serato and then sequence those very samples here on the board. That's awesome. Because otherwise, you can do the same thing, but you're going to have an extra step in your workflow. You're not going to be able to just do your samples in Serato and then immediately into the drum machine. You're going to have to actually save your samples and then install them into your drum machine and then sync it up with your controller. So as far as workflow, if you're trying to sequence samples, then the 808 is definitely awesome. Okay, another thing, people say how great the 808 sounds compared to the MCX8000. I haven't heard either one in a club environment, but with my little speakers and my headphones and anything that I've used, I feel as though the MCX8000 sounds as good or better than the 808. I feel as though I'm having to turn the levels up on the 808 more. And I think the MCX8000 sounds awesome. So people are saying that the 808 has a great sound card, but I have no clue how it is in comparison to the MCX8000. But as you can probably tell, I've been talking for 19 minutes, and let's see, have I covered everything? They're basically the same unit. If you remove the drum machine and the voice transformer over here, and you remove the engine software and the screens over here, they're basically the same. However, my choice is going to be to sell the DJ808 because I feel like I can use the MCX8000 more as an instrument. For some reason, I just prefer this machine. So we're going to go ahead and leave it at that. As far as managing Serato, they're very similar. They both manage the Serato software as good as you would want them to. And the MCX8000 is going to cost more typically, although the one I bought yesterday is a surprisingly good deal. This is still a $925 piece of equipment. And to me, this should still be about an $1,100 piece of equipment. So I've had fun with the Roland DJ808, but I'm going to pack it up and send it away, and then my love affair with the Denon MCX8000 will continue.